Alright, moving on. We are back with another episode of
ChaBanSheng CC.
And we are now on episode 3.
Yes.
为自己掌声鼓励鼓励。
Yay!
我们没有放弃。今天
不放弃，我永远不放弃。You want to do this?
I'm like, what song is this?
I don't
How
know.
come it sounds slightly familiar? Is it a Michelle Chong movie?
Oh yeah,
Is it Lulu?
我不知道哎。
I think so. I think it's
I've
Lulu.
only ever heard
Is it
you
不放
sing
弃
it.
我
永远不放弃。
No, the Lulu one is ping 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 ping.
Okay, whoever is on YouTube Premiere with us, can you please leave a comment? Let us know what song this
What
is.
song this is.
Okay.
Yes, but what we wanted to say is that here we are once again at episode 3 of ChaBanSheng CC's podcast.
Woohoo!
Uh-huh.
So as you have heard, like in the intro, right? We would have played that song, right?
Oh, the song that we're covering today.
Yes, today's topic would be
小孩别哭.
Yes. Okay.
This is possibly ChaBanSheng's shortest song ever.
Yes.
And this song is in our second full album.
I remember you wanted to write a verse for it, or like you wanted to complete it, but then we realized that, oh, yeah, it seems like you don't have to add any part to it.
Yeah,
This
actually,
is-
I was just thinking about this song because
Yes, it
you know
is, yeah.
we're covering on this podcast. I was just trying to recall the process,
Mm.
and I didn't really remember much.
the process of this song.
As in, I didn't
不是你
remember.
跟那个谁 Ryan
No, I remember
吵架
the story, and I
Oh.
remember very vividly the emotions and where it was written.
Yes.
But I don't remember the process of how we decided that we were going to include it.
Mm.
And also, like for example, like there's a cello intro. I remember writing that,
Mm.
but
Yes.
I couldn't remember the creative process or reasonings behind why we did all that we did. Yeah, because this song is so 简单. It's
Yes.
very 纯粹的一首歌.
是啊, I think we decided
2.5
that
minutes only.
because in the album we used it as the first song, right? It's like an intro, right?
Was it the first song?
Yeah. And then the album is called 长大, and we wanted to start with this song, like reminding the listener and ourselves to be connected to that inner child,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, so I share a bit as to why or how this song came about. So 长大 is one of our second full album, right? After our first full album in 2010. 长大 was released in 2016, which is a 6-year gap lah, okay? And between, I would say, 眼睛蒙蒙的2012年, right? 2012 till 2016. ChaBanSheng, we were always being asked, like, when is your next album? When's your next album? Every performance we go to, we tell them, within the next 10 years, or in 3 years' time, like we kept buying time.
Yeah.
During that time, we were all busy doing whatever we could to survive, right? I was teaching tuition. I mean, I started working at a cafe and then eventually I started teaching tuition. If people are interested, I was teaching primary school kids, like English, Chinese, science, math. So I had this student. He was my very first student. His name is... Okay, well, we must protect his identity. But anyway, I really fell in love with my students. I love them with all my heart. And when I teach them, I also teach them with all my heart. It's not just 一份工. It's not just about earning by the hour. So it was his PSLE year. And I was very anxious for him. But there was this period of time when it was so difficult to get him to cooperate. With the teaching. Like I'm willing to teach, but if you're not willing to learn, then nothing can be done. And there was this time when他就跟我耍脾气. He locked himself in the toilet when I got to his house. And I kept trying to coax him and I kept trying to ask, is your mom pay for the tuition? Oh, you got to come on. Oh. And when I finally gave up and I said, you know what, I'm leaving, okay? I'm leaving. So when I turned around to leave, suddenly he got out of the toilet and he said, fine, I'm coming out. And then he slammed the door. So he came out of the toilet and he slammed the door open, like in the room, really, really loudly. And at that moment, I lost my temper. And I slammed the door as well and I said, you know how to slam door? You think I don't know how to slam door? I just lost it, okay? But immediately after that, right, the reaction was something that I didn't expect. Like you would expect him to be scared. You would expect him to cooperate. But he just sat down on the bed and he started crying. Like and he is a primary 6 boy. And to describe him, I would say he matures beyond his years. He's like the 大哥 of the family. And he wasn't crying a childish cry. He was 很默默的在流泪. Like 从不懂哪里的一些 hurt you know, that he has been feeling, or something that he's been
Something
holding
that
back.
he's suppressing.
Yeah,
right?
he wasn't like, it wasn't, no, it was just tears. And he sat down on the bed and the tears kept flowing. And in that moment, I felt like a really bad adult. My heart ached so hard and so much for him. And because I know that the family was going through some things. So when I witnessed that, it really impacted me so much. I held it all in. I apologized. And, you know, I said, let's do what we can today. And then I held it all in. You know, we moved on with another like half an hour, just some simple revisions. And then that was the end of the lesson. Gave him a hug. I left. I got into my car. Now as I'm talking about it, I still feel so much. As I got into my car, I just started crying as well. And as I was crying, this melody was just naturally just came to my head, even with the lyrics, like 小孩别哭. And it made me think about how, as an adult, as somebody busy chasing my dreams, you know, you know, 我们 as singers also, 我们每次讲很多大道理, you know, how we should 追求 and how we should live our life. I think I got caught up. So caught up that in that moment, it was so humbling because I realized I had forgotten what it was like to be a kid. And in that moment when 我也跟着他一起发脾气, actually it just made me realize that sometimes as adults, we forget to think about things from the perspective of a child. But we have all been children before. 我们都是过来人. So as I sat in the car, as I reflected on this and I wrote this song, I wrote it as an encouragement, perhaps, like just now you mentioned inner child. Yep. I think I wrote it as maybe a bit of a comforting thing to my inner child. That it's okay.
Yeah.
That it's okay to be. And don't worry, I'm here. As an adult, I'm here to protect. As 大人, 我们是来这里, 我们是来保护小朋友的, and not to like, you know, we always tell kids like grow up, you know, but in that moment, this song for me just felt like 小孩你别哭啊, 别哭, like don't worry, I've got your back.
Don't worry, like take your time to grow up.
Yeah,
right?
I've got your back.
Also, yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So 一开始就那么沉重.
对呀.
Yeah.
But actually, we wanted to talk about childhood, right? To start with, like, what was your childhood like? I realized that I don't think...
this question.
I don't think I've ever asked you that.
Wow.
Right?
What is my childhood like?
I don't really have a picture of your childhood. The only thing that you always say is that your brother is always reading and not playing with you.
Yes. What is my childhood like? I think I had a good childhood.
Yeah.
I grew up in church. So my childhood was spent with my church mates. Yiling Winton Zihan. Like I grew up with this bunch of
the
of
community
friends.
Of children.
And I remember being in church so much. We were doing hide and seek, you know, doing all sorts of things. We used to have congregations in old hotels, and I would get lost in stairwells. Like these are some of the memories I remember. Or like fighting with boys. Yeah. Getting my arm dislocated.
I thought that was during Monkey Bar.
No, I got my arm dislocated during Bible camp in Cameron Highlands. Monkey Bar was in primary school when I got kicked in the stomach, and then I probably got whiplash in my neck.
Do you feel that we used to play more than kids now?
We used to fear nothing, which is why I did all these things.
Yeah, because
no
like,
fear.
Now that you're saying all this, right? Like I'm remembering my childhood, and there was a lot of playing.
You also no fear, what? You bring your sister and your brother,
no fear. Oh my God.
In Malaysia, JB
bad.
cross a damn scary road, go and buy ham, that kind of thing. I mean, I hear these stories. It's just, as children, we have no fear. Like, you tell me that you would take the mattress or pillow or something.
Oh, we would take like tilam.
Yeah, and slide
like,
down.
And slide down. Like so our house, we have staircase, right? So then it's at the top of the staircase, we place the mattress there. Then two of us will sit and then hold the mattress up like that, like a sleigh.
Yeah.
And then one person will pull the mattress and run down. Then the other two will go like dong 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 dong.
Like, you know, as adults now, I listen to this and I just think like,
staircase.
There are so many casualties. There are so many possible scenarios, like 100 dumb ways to die.
Like the person we could have knocked our head, or like the person to run down could have tripped and like fall flat.
Correct. I'm just wondering, why cannot just push? Why must pull and then run down?
Cannot push because you push what? You have to push. No, cannot push. The tilam is soft one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's really those 便宜的 like 一个人睡的那种小孩子的 tilam 嘛。
Okay.
So you can't.
都是 king coil.
You have to pull and run.
Yeah, so maybe the fun part is that like, 啦，你不可以撞到我这样，你要跑很快这样。
Yeah,
run down the stairs.
No, the fun is the going down the staircase in the sled.
Yeah. Okay, so back
That's
to
so
childhood.
Fun. Yeah.
No fear. And I also grew up playing soccer.
Wow.
With a lot of uncles.
What? And you were so small.
I was very small. That's why I remember like playing a lot of random things with a lot of people bigger than me, older than me. But no fear. Now you ask me to go and play with a bunch of like, you know, I don't know, older folks or like athletes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't what. But as a kid, it's like, yeah, sure, come. I'm a damn good defender. They always say that like I'm a damn good defender. I think it's because firstly I'm a girl. I'm only 5 years old.
Yeah.
And I don't take my eyes off the ball.
And probably the uncles also don't dare to tackle you.
Yes, but then they also find that I'm super irritating because I really like 穷追不舍. I'm like, the ball is here, the ball is here, the ball is here.
That's still me, right?
That's still...
When we played during the Jackie tour.
Yes, that's still you.
Yeah, I still like that until I hurt my arm. Oh
fearless lah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still fearless.
Yeah.
But when I was young, like, wow, 真的是, I think I did a lot of bad stuff.
What do you mean?
No, I don't think I'm the most obedient kid.
Okay, 我问你，你有没有偷过东西？
没有，我不敢偷东西。
Okay.
Like even if I steal like a pen or steal like有时候是不小心拿。
Okay.
Like leave the shop already, I'll go back and return it one.
As a kid?
Yes.
Okay.
这个我不敢。Okay, 我不会做犯法的事情啦。
Okay. So 坏的事情是什么？
坏的事情
What bad thing you do?
as in like I was so shameless. Like for example, like in school, right? Like obviously 要做功课, right?
Okay.
But I really don't like 做功课. I really don't like do my homework. So I would rather spend all my time watching TV.
Well, some things don't change.
Yes, exactly. So my passion is the same. But then of course the teacher will like cane. Because in Malaysia last time can cane one ma. Then like they cane like one each day, right? I think I'm caned up to like, I don't know, 20 strokes or something. Because different teachers will come and cane me.
Okay.
For different homeworks. Or like...
Not painful, meh?
Pain. But I'm okay one. I very thick skin one. Last time. Now I very thin skin.
It's damn pain the cane on the hand.
Yes. And the worst part is that after I'm caned, if it's like purplish, like if it's bruised, I get home, my mother check my hand, it's bruised. She would know that my teacher caned me. Then she will ask me, why your teacher caned you? Then if it's like, oh, 没有做功课, whatever, actually whatever the reason is, right? My mom would know that I got caned is my fault, right? And then I'll gonna cane some more.
I just don't understand how you can get caned and still do what you want to do. Because 很痛欸.
It's really 很痛. And like the teacher will come with different kind of canes.
Yeah, and 你懂吗？有时候他会打到你的 tendon 还是打到那个东西，特别痛的。
And 有时候会整个啵的嘞。
Yeah, 它会起一个水球这样。
But 我跟你讲 the trick right is to just keep rubbing it. Like 你不要等它自己 bruise, okay? 你要快点 like 打完过后你就是散 like you what's that? Rub away the blood clot and whatever.
I can only say that this advice does nothing for us now. Kids don't get caned.
Oh yeah, that's true. You're so lucky.
Yeah,
oh my
totally.
God. Yeah, and even then, right, like I still don't do my homework. And then my teacher will be like, okay, since physical pain is nothing to you, right? Then they try and shame me. So they would make me stand at the assembly area where everyone walked past to go to like recess time for lunch, right? And then I'll stand on the stage with a sign that says 懒惰虫.
I love it.
really hang around my neck like that is in front of me, right? Then I just stand there and then people walk past. Some I recognize my friend or what. I say, hey, hello. I just wave at them. I have no shame.
Okay.
So a lot of people would think that like you would form a lot of childhood trauma with all these things, right? I really don't have it.
Really? Ah?
Really.
Then how come now you so paiseh leh?
I paiseh, but I still won't do homework. Now you give me, I still don't do.
Yeah, but today I ask you to 挂一个牌子 stand somewhere. You can meh? In the MRT, I take out my cap. I take out my cap. I pretend to be a busker. Don't you walk how far away from me?
我快跑.
You're like, 不要，为什么这样？你不要 embarrass 我这样。Why now you grow up?
Because I grew up already.
Oh.
Yeah. No, so interestingly that day I was talking about human design with Rebecca.
Okay.
Because we were talking about human design. Then she was doing my human design, right? Analysis, right? Then she, according to the result, is that I was born a master and then I grow into a novice. I was like, huh? What do you mean by that? Then 我就回想起来
So you're growing, it's like a reverse. Wow, you were born Yoda.
Yeah, I was like so freaking zen and totally shameless and like 我看破了，你要怎样 shame 我，我都是没有事的 you know? Like, but then like now I'm like, cannot. A lot of things cannot.
Yeah.
It's so interesting, right? I don't know.
Now, actually, between Carrie and I, right, I would say Carrie 比较在意.
I'm
right?
more thin skinned.
Yes, and you're also more fearful. Even though you look more
fearless, huh?
garang.
Yeah. Actually, I realized, I am quite
you look more garang.
I think 保守, like conservative in terms of like what I put out there in the public. I'm like your mother, lor. Sometimes you want to post something.
Oh my goodness, you're like my mother. Is that why we have such an affinity? I got mother issues, is it, in my inner child?
It's like sometimes you want to post some things. I'm like, hey, are you sure you want to post that? Like I can hear Auntie Sheng going like, 没啊，你不要 post 这种东西啊，公诸于世啊。Yeah, why you put everything out there, 这样, you know? Which is why I don't post as freely as you do,
Yeah,
right?
I post freely one. If I feel it, then it goes up there.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I mean, this one, I think all our friends, our close friends, know that I feel that to the general public, Carrie looks like the more garang, more fearless one.
I mean,
when it comes
the more stable one too.
In some ways, yes. But I think in some ways, I'm more stable also.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah.
我没有那么多那个其他的一些起伏。
没有，因为你都一直在低嘛。
If you're already so low,
yeah, how much lower can you go?
Yeah, but like breaking rules, you know, being a bit more
God,
courageous
I
about
can't
things.
even jaywalk now.
Yeah, she cannot. I can.
And every time I refuse to jaywalk, then Tia will be like, oh my God, are you the Malaysian or I'm the Malaysian?
Yes. It's so weird.
Yeah, but when I was a kid, right, I remember vividly, obviously 大人 will be like, 你们千万不可以自己过马路, okay? Never cross the road by yourself. Always have an adult with you, etc., right? I remember I was at my grandparents' place and then like adults were all not around. Then I was like, adults are not around.
It's time to 过马路 by myself.
Wow, damn uncool It's damn cool Hey, hello. I was not even primary school I think I was just 5 or 6
Okay?
Then I was just like,
So while you 过那个马路, you're like, sucky.
I was like, hey, I can do this.
哇，马路如虎口, look at me.
Yeah.
Walking into the mouth of a tiger.
我就自己过马路班，我过到一半 right, then suddenly like the fear hit me, you know, like both like 它是那种two-way street, right? Then 我过到一半的 like the halfway the where the line is, and then suddenly the cars behind me and in front of me just go like zoom zoom zoom. I'm like, oh my God, I'm stuck. And then at some point I don't know who was shouting and whatever. Then I think it was my auntie suddenly realized that I was crossing the road. I was not even crossing the road for anything. I just wanted to cross the road.
Why did the Carrie cross the road?
So why did the chicken cross the road?
So that the chicken could realize that she truly is a chicken.
Oh my God. Yeah. So I've become fearful.
I don't think no. I don't think you become. But as a kid, I think we are blessed, right? And then we don't have as much examples where we have failed. Actually, no leh. This is very interesting.
I kept feeling leh.
Yeah, I see my nephews, right? 跌倒的跌倒，跌完倒还可以在同样的地方 right 犯同样的错的。
Yeah.
There's something about them that you just stare at them and you just think, why It's kind of cool also.
Or they're just testing out the water, like, or rather like testing out.
No, they're just so happy. They're just so like, you know, at that moment, right, they're just overwhelmed by the excitement, or like, I need to 抓到我的哥哥, or like, you know, why the ball is mine or something. In that moment, they won't think about, I need to be careful. Here, I fall down before. They don't think that way one. Whereas as adults, right, we always say, oh, PTSD. You know what I mean? Like, we will always Don't
overuse the word
PTSD. Yes. But what I mean to say is that we will always say once bitten, twice shy.
Yeah.
But for kids, it's like 100 times bitten, right? They're still not shy.
No, because like things like trying to catch the ball, falling down, it's not painful. It's part and parcel of life. So that is not impactful. Like for example, when I was young, right? It was once, okay, oh my God, I'm so stupid and I'm so weird, right? I was at my study table and then like, in the past, I've never had keys to the house.
Okay.
This was in primary school. I never had
Until
keys.
now, nobody should give Carrie their keys.
That's the reason why I never had kids. But because my mom used to stay at home, she was, a housewife, right? But then I think she started working. So they gave me a key and I was like, wow. Now I have key there. I feel so important. Like I feel so grown up. Like, wow, I have house key.
How old were you?
I think I was primary 5.
Okay.
That's when my mother started working 嘛。
10岁
Okay. So
okay.
差不多是 应该是 primary 5。我就有锁匙，我妈就 pass 我锁匙。Then it was at my study table. You know, last time that kind 靠墙, then you open up, then you can study, then you close back up. Then I was like, but there's nowhere for me to hang. After I got the key, right? I was like, there's nowhere for me to hang. Then I saw a plug. Like a 2-pin plug.
I do not like where this story is going. But continue.
There was a 2-pin plug, right? I was like, idea. What if I open up the 2-pin plug, right? I put the key in there and plug it into the socket. Then it will be hanging somewhere, right? So smart, right? And then I touch the key. Then 我被 sort 嘞。
I mean, is that why you say that 这样 sort? You could have been smarter. Is that even possible?
Yeah, but it's like
我第一次听这个故事欸。
quite funny, right?
I mean, the fact that you're still alive makes it funny. Yes.
Yeah, but of course I read something about electrocution before. Like,
did the house
like the
烧电？
电没有. So it was really like, then 我就快点 like let go, like with all the power and will in my body, I let go of the key. Because I really felt the current.
Hey, this is really dangerous.
It is.
Usually when these things happen, right, the thing that will save you, right, is circuit breaker.
Or
Do you know
like,
what I mean? Like,
or like someone else take like a wooden bat or whatever, hit your hand and break the connection. I mean, okay, so when that happened, right?
you live in a Tom and Jerry episode. I take a wooden bat, hit the hand. The person still trying to find a wooden
去哪里
bat.
找 wooden bat, right?
Okay.
As long as it's wooden or like, something that doesn't conduct electricity lah. Yeah, but just nice. Like I remember seeing, maybe it was a Tom and Jerry episode, but it was about electrocution. Then it came back into my mind. I was like, I gotta let go. Like, yeah. So I'm still alive today. I'm so glad that I'm still alive because actually many things happened.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
What are we talking about next?
Childhood.
We were talking about childhood.
Yeah, I'm still talking about your childhood. Like other than like, being with church, how's your relationship with mother, your father, that kind of thing. Because we want to talk about that inner child, right? What really...
Can you ask more specific questions?
Am I a host?
We are both hosts. Hosts.
Hosts.
Because if you don't pronounce it properly, it's like, am I a host? It doesn't sound right. Because like I can go on and on.
Because I want to talk about inner child work.
Okay.
Right? There is a theory that a lot of things that we do now, like all the negative emotions that we feel, maybe anger, maybe sadness, or like how we respond and
how you process,
overreact towards certain situation or criticism or people, it reflects back on our inner child.
Okay.
Because like 小孩别哭, right? We're talking about our inner child, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
so I think in general, like for me, like for example, like for me, I feel like my childhood was good. Like I had a lot of fun with my siblings. We are all crazy. And we have like a lot of stupid ideas like the mattress, and like we would like create haunted house in our house with like cardboard boxes. Then we would like climb into the tunnel with, that we made out of cardboard boxes. It was so much fun. My mom was difficult because she was a tiger mom. I mean, we love her and she's so much fun, that's for sure. But she is like 没有100分达到100分 kind. So if I come back with a 听写 say it's like 20题 right? And then 我错一个的话 then it's 95 right? But 不是打一下嘞，不是错一题打一下 ，is 打5下。因
为你在学校已经打20下了。
对对对， so actually 也是 OK 的。So but 是要打到100下啦。So I have to make sure that all my tests I get 100. Like if not, then there's a lot of beating. And then like piano is another thing, right? Another reason for her to 打我 right? So I think I was like what current era people would think is child abuse.
Oh, that escalated.
Child abuse victim. It was once literally like because of like homework and whatever shit, right?
Yeah.
My mom threw a pencil case at me and it was metal, right? And then it caused like the back of my head to bleed. It was like really bleeding profusely. And my father like rushed me to the clinic and the doctor almost called the police. Yeah, because he was like, what's going on? Why is this child bleeding at the back of her head? Of course, then of course they lied lah and said like I fall down lah, this lah, that lah.
But there's no trauma, right, for you?
But yeah, that's the thing. Like I don't feel like all this thing caused any trauma for me. Although, like when I look at the symptoms of like, oh, do you have like childhood trauma? Like it does seem like I fit some of these things lah. But I think no one can really escape from. And I think you know, like trauma, we would think that it's like all this physical abuse or like the big things, right? But it could just be one day when one uncle said one thing to a child.
That is so true. Yes.
Right? Like I have a friend's friend, I heard the story about how this person has been depressed for like 10多年. She has seen all kinds of therapy and taken medication and whatnot, right? And she just can't get out of it. Like. And then she tried hypnotherapy. And then, so what she learned out of the hypnotherapy was finally she found the root of her problem was that an uncle said to her once that 她很丑很肥.
Okay.
Said that you are very ugly and you're very fat.
Okay.
Why you so fat and ugly?
But it was never in her conscious level of her mind.
Processed it. She remembers this incident. But I think she didn't really realize that this was the root of that was the trigger. Yeah, maybe she had a lot of emotions already, but that uncle pushed her down this depression path.
Okay.
Not that the uncle is at fault. So, of course, the disclaimer is that we don't think that our parents are at fault or the adults are at fault, but rather things happen when we are young and susceptible and moldable.
Moldable, yeah. Impressionable.
Yeah,
like
that's
it
the word.
really leaves an impression.
Yeah.
I think now, if we say we are a piece of clay from young, you know, the different fingerprints, the way you mold it, everything is impressionable. But now we're a bit hardened already.
Yeah. And then all the thumbprints and all the hurt.
Yes.
All the dents are all stuck already, right?
Yeah. So then what do you decide? Which dents do you decide that, you know, this is something that I need to try to remold, right? Or do some retiling? But then which are the ones that we learn to accept as our beauty?
我笑到我很多痰呢。我喝点水先。
那个是 everyday 的东西。
我真的笑到我很多痰。
But 因为你刚刚讲那个 uncle 的东西， 我就想到 because you asked me what's my childhood like, I would say overall I'm very blessed, right, with loving parents.
You know, when I was a teenager, I'm always very 羡慕 people who grow up in church.
Okay.
It just feels so happy. Like there's a lot of song and dance.
There is.
You know, people sing and they are happy.
I think honestly, I was very, very happy. Sometimes I look back and
I'm very drawn to that.
Sometimes I look back and I really, until now, I still think that my happiest, as a child, it was fun, obviously.
Yeah.
But formative years, if we say like between being a child and becoming an adult, being a teenager, my happiest days was when I was serving in children's church in Solid Rock with Esther, with Helena, Elaine, with Francis.
Yeah. You always talk about those times.
Those were because I felt my identity was so strong.
Yeah.
And I was bringing laughter and joy to literally like the most innocent human beings on earth.
Yeah.
You know,
and that was when you were a teenager.
I was a teenager. I was in JC.
Oh,
Yeah, I was like kind of like either secondary school, JC, and then university as well.
Right.
I was doing skits lah. I was doing leading worship. I was getting them to praise. It was so fun.
And it was so free. It was not like, how well were you doing in your skit? Like, were you acting as Jesus well? Okay, it doesn't matter. Just, it's all about having fun, right?
But how I ended up serving in children's church is actually a sad thing.
Yeah.
I didn't fit in with the other youths. I struggled. For someone who so-called grew up with a tiger mom, and also like so-called branded schools, Nanyang Primary, Nanyang Girls, and all. I really struggled because in church I was a lousy student. Like, all my peers knew the biblical facts and like they could remember the 66 books of the Bible, and I could never. I don't know why. It's almost like I'm dyslexic. I just cannot. It just doesn't go in, and I suffered a lot from like a bit of an identity crisis and also the stress of many things. I feel like I was not able to live up to expectations.
Yeah.
And I was not happy.
Okay.
But when I got adopted into children's church, into Solid Rock, maybe I was a child for a very long time. I just didn't want to grow up. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I felt like I vibed and I got along so well with kids.
Why do you need to memorize the Bible? Just Google.
No. You just have to. It's just part and parcel of learning.
Those are just show-offs lor.
It's not show off. It helps you to. They say it helps you to. I mean, I won't go and say that it's not for nothing.
Yeah.
It is for something.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. So I vibe so well with kids and people who love kids. And the thing is that the people who love
and
kids,
you love kids.
Yeah. It's very pure, and it was joy and love and purity at its best. You know, like we would have children's church camps where we would have a pool where we have flour and sticky things and we make the kids go in.
Yeah.
And then just ha. But I mean, there were a lot of good memories there. But what I wanted to talk about just now when you mentioned the uncle thing was that I always struggled with identity since a very young age, despite being a very happy child. Despite being somebody, I think naturally I'm very effervescent as a kid.
You struggle.
I struggle with identity. So the one thing that I remembered so very clearly was Uncle Cheng An always calling me Qian Rong. It's okay lah. I got tell him before.
Okay.
You know, like when you become an adult, like now, recently I spoke to him about it. And I told him, do you know that time I was so irritated by you until now 我还记得 that he would always I live with I
他是故意的 right?
故意的
It was a joke for him lah.
So he would always come in and he would see me on the sofa with my brother and he would say, you look at me and you say, 千荣吃饭了没有
Yeah.
Insist and I'll be like 我是 Lydia. Yeah, that's my maiden name. Dia is also my real name, but so is Lydia. Anyway, so he would come in and then I would say that I'm Lydia. And he would like, 没有，你是千荣。你是千荣. You know, he would insist and keep insisting.
I feel like maybe
I was like
it's quite
5
funny,
or 6. You know, so it was funny, but it got to a point where I cried. I was so upset that I cried. And then the next blow was, 哟，千荣，你是个小气鬼. And I grew up with this thing where like, I think I am quite 小气 one, you know what I mean? But to be called 小气鬼, it was so difficult to stomach leh. I really grew up with this trauma. So Uncle Cheng An was not one of my favorite uncles. Yeah, but now that I'm grown up, you know, and then with seeing how my mom makes an effort to really love and hang with the siblings. I also tried it with my cousins. And I think just maturing lah, being able to tell him straight in the face, last time you keep calling me Tiao, I was very angry. It's quite funny. Yeah, but it's so...
It makes me reflect on how I talk to kids then. Like, but you never know,
That's
right?
My dad has the tendency to do that also.
Yes.
Yeah, and I will hold him back one.
Yeah, but maybe the kid is like totally unaffected. But 刚好, right? This uncle took a joke. Maybe it works on like all the other kids. I think we've also tried like, you know, I'm sure everyone has tried like doing this funny thing like saying to Asher like, hey, you Joseph, right?
Yeah,
hey,
the
Joseph,
thing.
like, yeah. Then they, no, I'm Asher, like 就很好笑这样.
For some, it's a funny thing.
But
for me, it wasn't funny at all. I'm very sure when he first called me Qian Rong, I'm very serious, right?
You're very serious.
I'm very serious about like facts. Like, are your eyes okay? Like, if you call me Qian Rong, I really will like 很关心的问你，你的眼睛 okay 吗？
Yeah.
我是女生，他是男生。I think it should be obvious to you. Are you okay? And be like, no, you're Qian Rong, right?
Oh, so your identity thing was about the 男生女生 thing?
Not necessarily.
Not really, right?
But also because my brother was always the smarter one. He was always the quieter but more brilliant. So my brother is quiet and yet he gets talked about a lot because he's like the genius in our family.
Yes.
Whereas I'm like the 小叮咚. I'm the fun to have.
You're the 小辣椒.
Yeah, 小辣椒, fun to have, 小叮咚. Fun to tease.
Yeah,
so nobody will
got a lot of reaction, no?
Nobody will go to my brother and say,
your brother will have, your brother will have no reaction.
Yeah, my brother even until now in WhatsApp when my mother like 抨击他 about his weight and all, he'll just be like, laugh out loud.
in your group chat,
I love
it.
it.
See what your mother 一堆, then your brother will just LOL.
I love it, man.
Yeah, we all have to learn. All have to learn from Qian Rong. But you see, like I was like that though. Like when I was a kid, right? Nothing gets to me. Like when, so it's a lot of these potential childhood trauma incidents. Like for example, like when I'm with my cousins, right? We all play like Xiao together, right? Obviously, all around same age, like Jia Qi, Jia Wen, all that, all around same age. Then like Chinese New Year, then we'll play and then we'll go crazy. And then dinner will be ready, right? Then all the mothers will be like, wait, dinner's ready, come down. Then I'll be like leading the van. I'm like, hey, let's not go down, let's keep playing. Then like, let's go and hide there and play and blah, 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 right? And then my mom will come up knowing that I am the Sigina who is stopping everyone from coming down to eat dinner, right? She'll grab me and she'll give me one tight slap in front of everyone. And then all the kids will run down to have dinner.
Wow.
And then I'll just be like, okay.
If that happened to me, I would grow up a very different person.
Right.
I think slaps are some of the worst memories that I've had.
Yeah, but you know, it happens a lot. Like it like totally doesn't affect me. I'm like totally shameless.
But then again, I feel like I empathize with the people who slapped you. Like I get it. If you slapped Carrie before,
I think maybe my mom.
我懂你.
I think my mom's the one with the trauma.
Yeah, because you
like 为什么会 like I can't leave this person.
Yeah, 我觉得打你 on the show and everything just doesn't work. Like in order to put you in check, right? 就是巴你一巴掌 and then 你才会 like 一下子 then you will recover 了.
Yeah, the problem is 我 recover 了 but all the other kids 下楼了.
I think you're the only one you really like cartoon like that, like slap really right? 跟你you're back again. 我们都是乡土剧懂吗？打了 then 就 like then 有很多 different angle.
很多人在看你知道吗？All my cousins saw me getting slapped.
很多内心。
你有想过我的感受吗？我都没有感受。Come man, let's do it again.
That's why I always slap her.
Oh my god.
Slappable. Some of your cheeks so nice to slap.
So funny, right? But then like, yeah, I don't think that's...
So, okay, basically, like they always say, like, 一种米养百种人, right? So you can do the same thing, but it will just have a different effect on everybody because we're all so uniquely made.
So I think the lesson here, right, is that if you have some kind of inner child trauma, right? What's that word? Yeah, inner child trauma, childhood trauma, or teen trauma, or whatsoever. I think we all have to face it, but we have to forgive whoever did that to you, because that person who did it to you, right, probably didn't realize that
it would have such an impact
on you. Like on too extreme, right? This uncle just making a joke about Qian Rong is something that she remembers and like hates.
Oh,
and then on the other hand, on the other extreme where my mom come out and slap me in front of like all my cousins, I'm like totally unaffected. Yeah. So it's not the adult, right?
It's a combination of so many different factors.
Yeah, I think more importantly, be it your child or an adult or some things will happen to you. Things will always happen to you, right? But we need to face them. We need to process them. And then we need to help ourselves to get over it because no one else is hurting.
And no one else can help help you.
Yeah. No one else is hurting except for you.
If I can, so I think no one else is hurting the same way you are.
Yes.
We are really, really all so unique.
Yeah.
Even if I struggle with my identity and somebody else struggles with their identity, it's a different struggle.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
And I've often, when we meet friends who are going through difficult things, the least helpful thing you can say is tell them, is compare.
Yes.
How much worse
do not
your situation
ever
is.
compare trauma. Do not ever.
To say and to say things like, yeah, 我懂，你懂吗？以前我 and then start talking about yourself.
不是你懂嘞。有些人喜欢我更惨啊，你知道我怎样。It's like, oh my god, it's not about you.
It's not a competition.
Like, I need this to be about me right now, right?
Yeah. Something I learned over the years, I think. This one I took, this lesson I learned off Tony was when I was going through something. I can't remember what it was. I think it was a social media thing. Like I said something on social media, it was picked up by the papers. And then also you guys also came and like told me off. Like managers also said like, you really should have. It was a small thing, but it affected me.
Yeah.
But I also didn't want to make a big thing out of how I felt. Because 不应该就不应该, and then consequences have been dealt with. Okay. So I was kind of just seething and then just like hurting. And Tony sent a message out of the blue. Yeah. And he said, hey, Dee, how are you? And all he said was, I told him a little bit of how I feel. And he just said, it must feel like shit.
Yeah.
Cannot claim to understand how you feel. I hope you feel better soon.
Aww.
And it really, really helped me. Yeah. I liked it so much that from ever since then, every time I approach or I try to be of value to someone who's hurting, I always use this. I always say it must feel like shit. And I cannot claim to understand how you're feeling. But if there's anything that I can do, I'm here. Yeah, because sometimes with a lot of these things, right, we always end up claiming to know what is the solution or being a scholar about it. But that person just needed someone to hold a hand.
Yeah, I mean, so that's another song that we wrote about in recent years. I think, that's something that, because I feel like I know you so well, right? Like, you know, since Superstar, we've basically been inseparable.
I think you know me well because of all the years between us. All the things that, I mean...
the years between us, as in like 4 years difference.
Like 4 years, you older than me, then you see me go through a lot of things from a slightly older perspective. Like you were always the advisor in my life.
Yeah, correct. No, not really, but okay, yeah. But no, my point is that because we have been inseparable and like I've been through so much with you and like I think I know you, right? So something happens to you, I will...
Because you think you know me, assumption.
I think I know you. So I will end up telling you, you should like, 你不应该这样嘛，你应该怎样怎样。哎呀, or I'll assume how you feel or when you did something and then why you did it and think, I'll have assumptions, right? Yeah. So now I also realize that the best thing I can do for you is to pretend or like just don't assume that I know you at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say that is the key to which we don't stick into the power plug. It's the key to how we are still friends in the last 10 years or so.
Right?
Yes.
Ever since that huge quarrel in Taiwan, I think that's when we started afresh and we're like, oh, okay, I'm not going to assume anything and like we just pretend we don't know each other at all.
Okay, it doesn't become so extreme now. I think from time to time we still realize we build up assumptions.
Yeah. No. So I think for me, right, like I'm proud to be that person who knows you so well.
Yeah. You are. In general, Carrie is someone, right, who's just very proud to know all these things. She feels very like, 我懂她的，我懂佩喜欢什么的，我懂Bear是什麼。哎呀 please Rebecca, you eat this one. You're always the one who will say these things.
No, 我长大了。
Oh.
Now I'll say like 我不懂 or like just 不要 assume.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but
it's hard, right? Because you have that natural tendency to like, there's sometimes now you hold back, but you can.
Now I hold back, right? And I'm like, ha, 你总是巧。
No, now she will hold back, right? If we're at a dinner thing, right? And you can, so Carrie, right? She has this. She cannot stop one, you know. Like she's like this.
I think I have
keeps
ADHD.
Vibrating. She keeps vibrating. Even on the chair right now, she's still vibrating one.
Yeah.
So when we are ordering,
I keep touching my iPad 啦，看the points.
So last time, okay, let's say 还没有长大的她，就是那种会 at the dinner table, you want this,直接我帮你点。你说 then if for example I order something else, she'll be like, 哈，你会吃这个的吗？You should be like very.
No, I think that sounds like my sis.
No, it's you. Then you guys had the same genetics lah, because you would do that.
We are similar in some ways.
You look very betrayed, you know. That
I was just
no.
You eat this man.
It's betrayed one. It's very, huh? You will eat this one, man? 我认识你那么久了，我没有听你点过这个东西。
But now 我是反过来 ，now 我是like I will guess what you want to order.
So you will guess, and then
And
you
then I will
will
wait
like it's a game show. Like you're sitting next to me, and I'm like making my order, but I can feel this energy.
I'll be like, what are you ordering? What are you
And then
ordering?
I'll say like, okay, I want the 烧鸡腿饭. And you're like,
我就等你说那个了。Exactly. Oh my god, so
you're
fun.
so weird.
Why are we talking about this?
Yeah, why are we talking about this?
Oh, about like, 之前我讲说 like I always assume that I know you, right? But now I'm just like, okay lah, I don't know.
As in
you.
your approach to helping me when something happens.
Yeah. Because we were talking about Tony, like just empathizing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, correct. I think it's all about empathizing.
Yeah, but today's song is 小孩别哭. We wanted to talk about our childhood, which we did.
Yes.
But also...
So I think empathize, right, is without judgment also. Because sometimes, right, when people act out and they say weird things or they throw a tantrum or they are depressed or, you know, any one of those negative emotions, right? When we empathize, we cannot judge. Because there's always a bit of that judgment where we say like, but if only like, if you didn't do that, then maybe, but
empathizing is kind of like just standing in the person's shoes, right?
Yeah.
同理心, right? Is it Chinese?
Yeah, 同理心.
Yeah. So it's as though I'm beating in the same heartbeat as you in that moment.
Yes.
Just a little bit lah. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's also will be like, if it's me, I won't handle the situation in a different way.
If it's me, then...
You know? Because you are not me.
If it's me, Josephine Seed, she slapped her.
她打人很大力.
Yeah, 真的，你看到她
真的
你会怕。
很strong. Yeah. If you have seen my mother before, she is a bull.
不要惹她。
She is a bull. She is. 她可以一个人搬 like cupboards, like king size mattress and all that. And then she
Oh my god! I suddenly have this wish.
What?
This childish wish in me. I want to see Josephine Seed and Amanda Loa do the arm wrestling. See who's stronger. Okay, never
wow.
mind. Yeah, because Amanda was very strong.
Yeah, but she was just at Sanity.
That day. Anyway, let's continue.
Okay.
Don't digress.
Okay, so 我们已经讲到 about 45分钟 already, right?
你要不要讲 about 那个 inner child?
Yes, because recently, like, because we went to UK, remember? Then we met with your May, and then like she talked about this inner child work. She shared
some really deep stuff.
Yeah, I loved it. You know, like I think it left a real impression in me.
I think how honest she was also with her sharing.
Yeah,
was very. Well, actually, 我听了, I mean, she's my May for many years, and she is someone who never gives other people trouble.
Yeah,
with 她自己的 troubles.
Yeah.
She always tries to be the one who's there.
Very strong.
And then
right?
even when she's gotten past something and she talks about it, 是一个很有点 chill. You know the way she talks? It's a bit like, oh yeah, this thing happened and then no, and then I dealt with it. It was difficult, but yeah. So now moving on.
Now,
blah, blah,
yeah.
blah.
Yeah, things were difficult because, you know, like I have this childhood thing, but like, now I'm seeing a therapist. Yeah, I'm fine now. You know, like it's really nice. And I like how candid she is and how open she is. And I feel like, why don't we have more of these conversations, you know? In Singapore, like we don't talk about therapy. Nobody really goes to a therapist. I feel like it should be normalized. Like after that day with her, like, I actually want to go and see her therapist. Like I want to.
No, I think in the UK it is very common.
In the
US.
States, in Europe, like it's very common. Like some very woke family in Singapore, it's also common, right? Like, you know, their child would go through therapy to always be balancing their emotions and like processing whatever they feel, right?
I think Asia is catching up. Because you cannot just say, we should normalize it. But then it takes time for these trained professionals to come up, to have a calling and to feel like you can do this. Because I think it's not an easy job also. Being a counselor, being a therapist, being a psychologist.
Yeah, but I love it. Like I think this is really important work. Like not, I think I had a lot of anger issue before I knew Christ. You know, like sort of like after I got to know Jesus, then I sort of resolved, like I throw it all to him and
You had anger issues?
You don't think so? I have anger and management, like we used to quarrel so much, right? Like,
your anger issue is just walk away, what?
Which is still a problem.
Okay.
which is still a problem. Like I don't have to feel all these things, man.
Okay. Because when I think of anger issues, I think of people who like have a bit more like
Throw things
violent tendencies.
No lah, no.
Yours 还好。
No. It's not like that one.
而且你很容易生气啦。
Yeah, 我很容易生气。
你 everything 有时候看不顺眼，就because you have an opinion about everything.
Yeah, but those like the opinion about other thing, that kind of anger is not the same as like my anger towards like my family maybe or towards friends and like whoever hurt, right? So signs of a wounded inner child. Like I saw this on this article, then I thought like, 不错啊
share 一下。
Yeah, so 就有 like frustration or irritation, big reactions to unmet needs. Like even in the office, last time when I was working also, like I would have a lot of like, like 为什么这个人这样
The reaction 很大。
reaction 会很大。
Okay.
Or like my pride was huge. Like I wanted to be the best at my work. I was very competitive and I wanted to be really good at what I do.
Okay.
So, and I was really good at what I was doing. But the moment someone point out like, oh, you did this wrong. And you know, some people are just like damn irritating. They would point it out in a way to put you down one. Wow, especially 再加上这个 attitude, right? Of like, you did this wrong leh. Wow. I would be so angry. Like I would vibrate.
Yep.
And I would have to go out for a long walk to like walk it off.
It's very emotional.
It's very emotional.
Deeply emotional. Like you don't even know. It's not logical at all.
Yeah, correct. So when as an adult, right, when our emotions get out of control, then that is signs of like, maybe you have a wounded inner child. According to this article, okay?
Something
so some
repressed
other
from
things
many
would
years
be
ago.
like childish outbursts, like throwing tantrums, complaining that no one understands you or you don't feel heard. Hello? That's me, right? We need to close out on Dia's expression. Difficulty explaining your feelings or why you're upset. Low self-esteem. I have low self-esteem, eh? I knew you were going to react this way.
Okay, I think right. Sometimes you know why I don't like
no.
Websites,
I am not.
It's like why doctors will always tell patients, please don't go and read the WebMD because you will always 对号入座 one. Like 你这样, you listed so many things as like okay, signs of a wounded inner child. It's like it already covers all. We are all wounded. That is a fact, right? But then some are more wounded than others.
Correct. So I'm not saying that I'm very wounded. Like I really don't think I am. Like in fact. Coming over, like I really want to talk about this, right? I don't really have childhood trauma because of how don't care I was, right? But like this is more of a like discussion point.
Yeah.
Like I use myself as an example to sort of bring out this point about this idea of a wounded inner child and how we can all examine ourselves. So if you have low self-esteem, maybe you can take a look at yourself, like talk to yourself and try to understand like why do you have this low self-esteem? Of course it could be external because in the current world, like TikTok, Instagram, social media is just so flooded with so many ideas of what is good looking, what is thin, and you know, it's so easy to fall.
So if we continue to use you as an example, okay, since you already opened up that
okay.
Pandora box, you just said that you feel like you have low self-esteem.
Yeah.
And this always comes up actually in our conversations.
Yes.
So based on this, let's say you have to talk to your inner child.
Yes.
追根究底.
Yes. So according to this article, like after you acknowledge that you have like some kind of like childhood trauma or you have a wounded inner child, then there is this like exercise that you can do where like you talk to your inner child. I thought it was very interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you talk to your inner child?
So you imagine like say if you're in a therapy like I read lah, okay, I don't know how it's done.
Okay, so disclaimer is that Carrie is sharing about things that she has read. She is not a trained professional.
Yes, I'm not a trained professional. If you feel like you have a lot of these negative emotion, I would highly recommend you talk to someone.
Someone professional.
Professional, yeah.
But if not, let's just talk to each other for now. Leave a comment.
Yes.
Okay,
yes. So yeah, okay. I talked to my I really examined my childhood, right? And I really think like I'm kind of okay, like except for there was one incident. I remember we were driving to Malacca. It was a long distance car ride, and we were singing 关怀方式。我的关怀方式是你无法察觉的悲凉。So the three of us, we were singing 关怀方式 non-stop, all the way from JB to Malacca, right? Oh my God, we were so annoying. I tell you, it was mom and dad. I'm so sorry. We were so annoying. So non-stop leh. And then I'm being the bossy sister that I am. I'll be like, okay, now go, you sing my brother, I call him correct. Oh, you sing the man part and I'll sing the girl part. Okay, can. And then after that, I'll boss my sisters to sing the girl part, then I'll sing the man part. Okay, because got different harmony ma. So all I want to sing, right? Then my mom was like, shut up lah. 哇，你唱很难听，他们两个人唱就好。
我的关怀方式是你无法察觉。
I was like, I think my identity has always been quite hinged on the fact that I can sing. Like my mother has never ever said that I can sing. My parents they have never. But it's more like other people like to tell me that I like to sing, right? I can sing very well. Like in school, I would be like always joining singing competition because my teachers would be pushing me to join singing competition or like even represent the school lah. Then the choir, it keep asking me to join them, even though I'm like, nah, 1 year is enough. Yeah. So when my mom said that, I was like, wow, like I don't know if I can sing anymore.
But you continue to sing leh?
Yeah, correct. But every time I join a competition, I will always get second or third. I will never get first. Then my mom 这一句话 right will keep coming back to me.
Okay, so wait, this is something you realized when? When you were talking to your inner child?
Like when I was digging my childhood trauma. Like, okay, for sure this little memory is always at the back of my mind. Like it does come out. Whenever I feel like I am not good enough, this will come
back.
It will come back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
But because I don't think my mom said
because,
it to 打击我. I think she just had enough.
Yeah.
She's just like 不要再唱了.
No, but 她直接讲你唱很难听，他们两个唱。
对 and then 她讲他们两个唱好听。And like you know my brother got that soft voice, like 我的关怀方式, right? I'm like, hello.
I mean, when you're young, you wouldn't know what.
With the very nice voice. Even I go and piano examination, right? Like the examiner from like British or whatever, you have a beautiful voice. I'm like, oh, thanks. Right? So it's like what I can't gauge myself anymore.
Is it because you always thought you had a beautiful voice, but your mother is the one person who say that it's 难听?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, she is the one person.
One person. So therefore it's like so jarring, this comment.
And obviously my mom's comment is like 100 times bigger than anyone else's, right?
This is interesting to me because we are on entirely two different ends. Because Carrie always tell me that I'm very confident. Right? You always say that I am confident like 达不到你的. Yes, I also feel I am quite confident.
Yeah.
But my confidence comes with literally like my knowledge, right, is that like I cannot sing. I grew up like this.
So then,
I never
you have
thought
nothing
I could.
to lose.
Nothing to lose, really. My mom never said it doesn't, how to say lah, whatever I do now, it doesn't hinge on the expectation of anyone. Like how I ended up singing, right? There was no expectation. I had no expectations.
Yep.
My parents had no expectations. The first time I won a singing competition in Hwa Chong, I had to call home to tell them that I'm coming home late. And then when I finished the competition, I excitedly called back to say, hey, I won. And the first comment my dad said was, are the judges deaf?
Yeah, but these comments actually, like, it
rolled
nothing,
off my head.
Right?
Yeah.
These comments did nothing to you.
I mean,
right?
I was a bit like, no, they're not, but ha ha ha, laugh out loud, I guess.
Yeah, but I think, is it because your identity was not hinged on
Singing,
right?
No, in fact, I think it was always theatre for me.
It was always acting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if someone is like, oh, you can't act, then maybe it will hit you harder.
Maybe, but let's not go down that path. I was always very passionate about theatre, but the roles, 就是我拿到的角色 is always like 外星人
and the shoe lah.
Like the random.
And like tree number
no.
Tree number 2.
I will not be the tree. Okay, I will be the
funny tree.
Yes, the funny tree. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tree number 2 who is funny.
But I just think it's very interesting because I never got any encouragement down this path.
Yeah, so actually talking about it, right? Like I feel stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But
because for as long as I've known you, you've always had very complicated emotions whenever it comes to the stage.
When it comes to singing.
And the stage and singing, putting yourself out there.
Yes.
In the car, you will sing like nobody's business. I ask you this song, you know, man, you're like, I don't know, first time I hear. But you will sing along with it. Really loudly.
Yes.
But whenever we have to go on the stage, before we get on stage, you're always all like, let's go. We can do this.
Right.
And as we're moving up.
Right.
Yeah, so I think actually on stage, right, you are actually dealing with a lot of emotions that maybe you yourself you don't know and you don't understand.
Yeah, I feel myself like hearing other people judge me like, oh, 好听咩？不是很好听啊，他这样唱 OK 咩？这样 like, then I'll be like, how's my pitch? Am I singing with too much force? Like, 因为我声音很大 and 硬嘛 right? So sometimes I feel like maybe I'm projecting too 实，我的 voice 太实。就是like I know all the 真假虚实, like all the vocal technique and stuff. Then I'm like, oh, am I using the right technique? And
your brain is on an overdrive.
Yes. When I'm on stage, right, it's really
overdrive. When I'm on stage, my brain is off.
Right? You just perform intuitively.
It's adrenaline for me.
No, I think it's intuition for you. Like you just intuitively know how to sing. You're amazing, eh?
Thanks, leh. No, leh. No. But I mean, when I was younger, yes. Now that I'm older and I've gone through my fair share of trauma, I mean physical health issues and whatnot, there's a lot more thinking, but I try to leave it downstage. The moment I get on stage to me is magic. Audience is magic.
Yep.
And the reason why we still do what we do is because there's always this energy that's going back and forth.
Yep.
And it's so magical because it gives us strength, it gives them strength to keep going and keep doing more things. And we look forward to the next time we can see each other again and can share more music. And I think that's what is keeping maybe that inner child in me alive. You know, like as an adult right now, I try to do what adults should do. Right? But the reason why we live is, if not for anything, it's for that inner child moments where there's a moment that's so comparable to when I was in Solid Rock. Moment that was comparable when I was playing soccer with the uncles.
Moments
like I will
when
remember
you were free.
Free, yes. Like free. But freedom when I was young and freedom now is very different. Now I
don't think we're talking about freedom. It's just this freeness.
And
you know,
maybe the adult now, for me as an adult, what I do, right, my hard work and me planting seeds and whatever, is to allow a condition or a scenario or a space where there is a moment where my inner child can come out again and be set free.
Yes.
And I look forward to these moments.
Yes.
Right? That's what we do.
Yes. And like, I think that's why we are very good friends.
Oh, because
when the two of us are together and when the stars are aligned, because sometimes they're not.
Sometimes cloudy with a chance of meatballs.
And I think we have a lot of fun together.
Yes.
Like we do stupid, childish things. You know, not even like childlike, it's just childish.
And we entertain each other.
Yeah.
In a childish way.
Yeah. And and I thank you for that.
I thank you for that too.
So I guess like to wrap up, like we want to encourage everyone, like, you know, really, life is hard, man.
Okay,
it's getting really expensive in Singapore, you know. 吃一碗面哦
，adult talking，
吃一碗面那个拉沙可以15块。
那个是因为是你点的，
你一定要加那个 ham 的吗？
一定要的啦，
你一定要加多一点 protein 的吗？
哦，要啦，
要不然你哪里怎样 quarter half， 对不对？你一定要 quarter half 嘛，你要加菜嘛 ，right？ So life is tough, man. Have like little pockets of time to enjoy life as a child. Like be it like, oh, it's raining now. I'm just gonna run out there.
Oh, that was fun.
Right? Like I'm just gonna run out there and 淋雨. Who cares? You know? Or like take off your shoes and walk in the rain. I used to do that when I was a teenager.
Yeah, we tried all that during
like because Nanyang always flood, remember? Whenever there's a heavy rain, like Nanyang will flood, like all the way until like we go to the Coronation.
Plaza.
And we just take off our shoes and walk. Like now as an adult, you'll be worried like what if there's things on the road, this, like that. Okay, never mind. Just do it. Just have fun. Whatever the inner child, listen to your inner child. So of course, just now we were talking about trauma. So apparently in therapy, they will ask you to imagine the inner child sitting next to you. That moment when you had that trauma, right? Like say it's 6岁, that 6岁的你就坐在你旁边 sit next to you, and as the adult you, what would you say to that
你会怎样去安慰
6-year-old you? So they have this idea of reparenting yourself. Because now you're an adult. Actually, you have a perspective of an adult now. Then you might realize that actually my mom didn't mean that. She just had enough of my voice. You know, and in fact, like, you know, then you will start to think about like all the moments when my mom is super supportive of my singing, which she is, honestly.
Very.
Yeah. So I need to let that go. I need to forgive myself. I need to forgive her. I need to walk away from that memory.
By talking to your inner child.
Correct.
Like literally have an empty chair, right?
Yes.
Imagine
have an empty chair. Imagine you talking to you. You can, so there's this exercise where you take on both roles.
Yeah.
You actually speak as your 6-year-old self and just be childish and like, but why did she say that to me? Like, cannot be what? Cannot be. I must have sounded better than my siblings.
And then the older you responds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, it doesn't even matter. You know, it doesn't even matter if your siblings sound better than you or you sound better than them.
Okay.
The point is you love singing.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh
yeah, that's beautiful.
Therapy to myself.
No, yeah, that's that.
Right? You love singing.
It is your destiny.
Yeah. It doesn't even matter how well you sing. You should enjoy. You should just, that's a moment when you should be free. Yeah. So that is the maybe something that you can, you know, whoever is listening to this,
practice.
You can try it out. Like be by yourself so that you won't be conscious. Like, oh, someone is like listening to you and thinking that you're schizophrenic.
Because I imagine, I just think that's so weird. But I don't know, in the quiet of the night, I might try this out, I guess.
Yeah. Right. It's like, I mean, I just tried it out and I thought, oh my God, it actually felt better. I feel better. Yeah, so then of course there's this other thing about like, you know, like other suggestions from this website would be like to meditate, you know, work through the emotions, right? Yeah, and yeah, so what else? Reimagine your childhood. They have this thing also.
What does reimagine your childhood do? Because I understand the talking to inner child one, that was quite a simple exercise that anyone can do. But reimagine? Like,
when dealing with past trauma, you may want to work with a therapist who is trained in eye movement desensitization. Okay, this is a bit much already, right?
Beyond us.
Yeah. Also, like another point was to talk to your loved ones. So that's what you did. You know, you actually talk to your uncle about it and you laugh about it, and then it's all fine.
Yeah.
Right?
And he doesn't even remember.
Yeah, of course.
Then
you
realize it's always like this one. The person who like so-called inflicted the pain on you, right?
Yeah.
They usually don't remember anything. 你自己在那边辛苦20-30年在那边
Yeah.
keep picking on the scab. The guy doesn't even realize he's accidentally scratched you.
Yeah, and sometimes, right, you think of that uncle, this person, not your uncle, obviously, because you guys are still close. Like, say, for example, just now I gave an example about my friend who had this trauma with your uncle. So maybe they are no longer close, right? So imagine you go back and talk to this uncle. Then you realize, oh, this uncle has his own set of trauma and struggle and like story. Or maybe you discover that, oh, actually he's very kind. But he's just, you know, bad sense of humor, or he just has a bad sense of humor or something. Then you might be able to form this closure and finally set aside this trauma or like this story. Yeah. Then of course, point number 7 would be remember how to play. I think one easy way to play, if you can't find a friend who is as childish as you are, play with a kid.
Yeah, that's why. Oh, interesting,
right?
Because
I think. Yeah, when you look at children and the way they play, it's just free.
You must love kids to a certain extent also. For me, I think when I was going through so much, probably between 2010 to 2015, a lot of times I would end up going to my friend's house and taking care of their kids. I spent so much time with Ethan, Christian.
In fact, every time
Ian.
When I was staying with you, when you are upset or you are, you know, not happy, I would say, hey, let's go Esther's house.
Yeah, we just hang out.
And then we'll just play with
amongst
them.
kids.
We'll just be chasing them.
Now you tell me go and play with kids, I'll be like, they're just here. Outside my door.
Yeah, but take that moment to, like, even your own kids, right? Like, you're always like, oh my God, they're here. And they, like,
it's still a conscious effort.
But to go back to 归零, right? even with your own kids, like 归零 and say like, now I'm just going to play with them like as if I'm their peer. And then I think you might surprise yourself. I think you will enjoy yourself and there might be some healing.
I think for sure there will be healing. So to wrap it up,
我们 rap 很久了。
Yeah. 所以你就喜欢的吗 ？rap 半个小时吗？你讲你不喜欢吧？你 actually 那个半个小时都是你耶。
OK 啦
No
OK 啦，你 know 的啦。
No, yeah. 他每次讲 OK finish 了 then 还有再加。But okay, to properly wrap it up, we share a lot about our own personal stuff that I think a lot of people will resonate with. But one simple practice is to try and really imagine your younger self sitting on a chair next to you and having a conversation with him or her. And addressing those issues. And like Carrie shared, you need to kind of also speak from that younger version of you.
Yes.
And have a conversation. So you're playing two roles.
Yeah. Some therapies, apparently they use left hand and right hand.
Oh yeah, that also
so
works.
Just like right hand, left hand. Yeah.
And then also I think another thing, if we were to summarize, crystallize it, play, right? Have good company.
Play, yeah.
Good company. Choose good company, authentic company. Recently, we also met Asa, right? And then we shared about the vocal issue and stuff. And then she asked me how I have been getting through it because I shared with her that it's been 5 years. And remember, all I told her was just pray and good friends. Because in the last 5 years, every day can be agonizing. For me, every day could be a struggle. I wake up and I'm like, I'm not meant for this. I don't deserve this. I'm not worthy. But then you have friends who come here and like, let's do this, let's do that. And then they dream big and then they believe in you and they just live. You just 被他们牵着走 to live life, to laugh about life. And it's important to get through each day because every day will have grace of its own. Every day will have a newfound blessing. So even if you're having a difficult day today, don't give up. Like try this small practice.
Don't give up.
Yeah, so try the simple practice and remember to surround yourself with good, playful energy.
And I think when you do whatever you choose to do in terms of healing, be it talking to your inner child or not, cry. I think just cry. Whatever you're feeling, just let it out. Yeah. Okay. So, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in to ChaBanSheng Cc Episode 3.
We had a lot of fun talking
Today was
about
a little
this.
bit deep. I wasn't expecting that. ChaBanSheng's shortest song, 小孩别哭, but quite deep.
But maybe the longest podcast.
Yeah. So please continue to like, share, and send us your comments.
Yes.
And thank you so much for tuning in.
And if you're on YouTube Premiere, thank you for joining us for the live chat. We really enjoy this live chat function, right? And all the silly posts that we send out. Yeah. So, okay, let's keep in touch. All right, bye.
小孩别哭，你不用去在意太多，头别低着难过，看看我的笑容。小孩别哭，你就是那么温柔。曾经是小孩的我们，怎么都记不得有人唱。小孩别哭。